This is a very important conversation today, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're watching this at home or on streaming, you can ask others to also come in. I have with me Lieutenant General Khandare. Lieutenant General Khandare has held various important positions in the Indian Army and has till recently, till a few days back, been the military advisor, the principal advisor to the Ministry of Defence during Operation Sindoor, which obviously has given him a very important operational role, advisory role, and more than a ringside view. General Khandare, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. I hope you can hear me clearly, sir.
Yes, Arnab. Good evening. Jai Hind to all your viewers. I can hear you clearly.
Jai Hind, sir. Sir, I'll come straight to the point. Did we hit Pakistan's nuclear facilities during Operation Sindoor? Did we hit their nuclear facilities or nuclear bases or nuclear storage hubs?
Arnab, we are strategic analysts. When we do analysis, we do it in a manner that we join the dots. Every possible input, whatever we get, and our analysis leads us to an assessment, which is up to the event and even subsequent to the event. So when I say what made me conclude this, I want to tell you whatever happened on that night, I want to take you a step ahead. Can we do that?
Let's do that. We have all the time, sir. We have all the time, but I would request my team to not just mention that you're a defense expert, but that you've been till recently the principal advisor to the MOD. Please continue, sir. Please. Yes, sir.
I'll walk you through, Arnab, and your viewers to understand the psychology of Pakistan military leaders, and that will give you an insight as to how they behave. Now, my first point here is, you look at the history. Whenever a Pakistani military leader has failed, he has got promoted. Now, take for example, there was a coup, Field Marshal Ayub Khan. Then you look at this Pervez Musharraf, he becomes the head of the state. And now this person, on 12th, we had that heinous crime. 22nd, we had that heinous crime. Prior to that, on 17th, he had given a hate speech about India to the diaspora of Pakistan and telling them that the two-nation theory holds good. And he had also amplified to say that if we are going to adopt or adapt to the Western civilization, then why the hell did we create a Pakistan? You go into the mind of this man and you'll realize what I am trying to tell you. Now, this was on 17th, on 22nd this happened. 26th, this man goes to Kakul and he's telling the young minds there that this two-nation theory and how India needs to be tackled. There is no thought, there is no compassion, there is no sense of emotion to say that civilians, tourists have been killed on the other side of the line of control. Then, after this kind of a military disgrace or a failure that he goes through, I am sure he goes and tells the stooges that are there in the political hierarchy that better promote me so that the failure can be turned into a victory. And the only thing that combines the population of Pakistan is Hate India campaign. Now, all that together, if let us say, I am saying hypothetically, if he had not done this, history would have remembered him as a failure. So he has diverted the attention very carefully and taken it as a victory. And this is the psychology of military incompetence of Pakistan leaders. When you join the dots, you realize that how big a failure could have been inscribed in their history. And he's turned it by just getting himself the Field Marshal's post, the coveted post. And he hasn't quit from the Chief of Army Staff post, which Ayub Khan had done earlier. So please join join all the dots in the cognitive domain and you'll understand why. It's not what, it is why. You have to understand why it is being done like this.
So I go back to the issue when we were hitting Pakistan. When we hit them, we first hit them on the 6th, 7th morning. We hit them on 8th, and then we hit them on 9th, late night, 10th, early morning. In that period, they had the option of not hitting back, but they continued their drone strikes, and they had a few unsuccessful attempts at sending PL-15 missiles and trying to target our air bases in different areas. When you said to Shravan that we didn't target the nuclear bases, but they got hit. How do we conclude, sir, that they got hit? Because what are the points of information we have which lead us to the conclusion that they possibly got hit?
You know, Arnab, the first part you covered when you introduced the topic, when you said what was happening there, the kind of rectification measures that were done. So you join the dots, you'll come to the conclusion yourself. You join the dots that somebody rings up our DGMO, and our DGMOs are officers of the highest caliber and character. And he tells him that, look, we've got to stop. For the previous 2 days, where was the Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan? Was he traceable? It is very natural to assume that he was in his command post because we had been targeting so accurately. So the point is, you have to keep joining the dots, analyze and come to an assessment. And thereafter, when information started trickling in, leading to a thinking that something drastic has happened, there could have been something which triggered the seismic tremors. Seismic tremors only in that area? Why not elsewhere? Why only after that hit? We have to keep asking ourselves questions and we have to come to deductions. When all this news that came up about a plane coming from Egypt and the kind of possibility that something has gone wrong there, that was in the fog of war. In the fog of war, nobody is able to say anything. It is only after you sit down, you join the dots and you realize what is the psyche of the person, whether to admit failure. No. Pakistani general will never accept a failure. You remember Niazi just 1 day before surrender, what bravado he was displaying? So whenever you are looking at your adversary, you have to look at the entire background that you have. We talk about a background intelligence, legacy data, and the current part. And thereafter you do a very careful analysis and assessment.
Now the Noor Khan airbase near Chaklala, near Rawalpindi, is critical to the airlift operations, strategic airlift operations, and it is near the headquarters of the Pakistan Strategic Plans Division, which oversees the country's nuclear arsenal. So when we targeted this strike,